All right, I want to introduce you to your dedicated personalized transaction portal. Let me say something before we get too far into this. I am the queen of resources. I do not want to overwhelm you. I am simply trying to make resources available to you. There are lots of ways to convey information and resources to you. I will always have lots of them available, but it doesn't mean that you have got to memorize, go through, know, understand, do all of them. They are out there for you. If they are of value to you, use them. If they are not, that's okay. You don't hurt my feelings. These are for you. The reason I'm pointing this out is it can get confusing because there are multiple resources. What I'm going to take you through today is, again, it's a dedicated personalized transaction portal. When I get into some of the resources here, I'm going to show you a couple of other resources as well. But I want you to know this is when I talk about portal and dedicated portal, this is what I'm talking about. It requires you to activate a token because it doesn't operate off of user IDs and passwords. It's just a token. The token is essentially saying that the device that you're on to access it will be recognizable in the future. If you switch devices, if you're on your phone today accessing it, and then tomorrow you want to access it on your computer, you'll probably have to go through the token process again because, again, it's recognizing the device you're on and saying it's safe to allow you to have access to this. So this is your landing page. You will get regular reports from me. And when you get those reports via email from me, it often has the link to this portal to make it easy, but feel free to save the link. But just know, usually once a week, you'll get an email from me that sends you the link again as a reminder that it's out there as part of your weekly update. This is the landing page. The landing page has very limited information. The meat of substance is actually in the view details, but you can see it lists some upcoming dates, some very basic high-level information about the transaction. And this is used on both the listing side and the buyer side. So if you're working with me, you may have both of those. By the way, if you are working with me on multiple deals, your portal can link multiple things to it. So that's kind of nice too. There's a close tab here too that once we close, your information will be in. So when you get to this landing page, you're going to want to click View Details. On the View Details tab, it will take you into this default view. Let's start with that. In this default view, it's always got my contact information to the right, some basic information about the contract to the top. And then as you scroll down, you're going to have these transaction dates. And then there's more information below that, so don't forget to scroll. One thing I did want to mention here, if you are on your phone accessing this, you will see the same information. However, you won't see the names next to this. You'll just see icons for activities, files, and contract. But again, starting with the default view, it'll first at the top have your transaction dates. These are dates that are set up as deadlines in the system. If it's grayed out, it means the date has already passed. If it has a check mark next to it, it means that not only has the date passed, but the activity has been completed. As we scroll down, you'll see an example here where this is not grayed out. So that means it has a future date. However, the activity has been completed. In this case, the inspection repairs were completed ahead of the deadline. So that has a check mark, but once April 2nd gets here, this will also be grayed out. These ones that do not have a check mark and are dark, those are future dates that the activity has not been completed yet. So that's transaction dates. If you keep scrolling down, these are tasks. So these are activities that get completed to support your closing, or in the case of a listing, your listing. And then the last thing on this scroll is participants. So on the listing side, this is going to be fewer because you might just have the photographer and your contact. But then when we're under contract, you can see here attorney, title company for the other side, who's the buyer, who's the inspector, who's the lender, who's the seller, usually just their names, unless you are the seller, and then there will be more, who's the inspector, and then who's the title company, who's the closers, association contact information. So this is very helpful to be able to make sure that you can reach out to any of these people anytime you need them. That's the default view. If you click on the activities view, That will take you to the tasks. If you click on the files view, that will take you to some links and some files. This is very valuable. There will be 3 links at the top of everybody's portal that are not specific to them. I want to share what these are. And to access those websites, you click visit. I mentioned earlier that there are a lot of resources for you in addition to this portal. One is this client only area on my web page. This is not my web page. This is actually an application. So this is separate. If you go to this client only portal, please know that it will ask you to create a user ID and password. It's because this is confidential information on my web page that I only allow my clients to view. To do that, it's got to restrict the access, which means you have to request access to those. That request will come to me, and once I approve it, you can sign in and use it. That client only area is where you will find recommended service providers. It's everything from mortgage providers, insurance providers, painters, cabinet people, anything you can imagine are listed out there, and it's a valuable resource, so I want to make sure only my clients have access to it. These other 2 links are to roadmaps. So there's a buyer's roadmap and a seller's roadmap. I'm just going to show you really quick what that actually looks like. It is a roadmap that looks just like a map, and it's interactive, which is really nice. It's taking me a minute because my internet where I'm at is slow. But as you hover over each of these numbers and you click on it, it will pop up a resource for you. It may be a short video clip. It may be a form. As you scroll down, you can do hyperlinks to each of the stages of the buying process, and that will take you to additional resources. So you can see here under Getting Started, there's some resources. As you scroll down, the house hunt, there's a number of resources, whether it's mortgage calculators, whether it's blogs, information, copies of contracts. And if you scroll down again, it's additional resources. So that is, excuse me, these buyer and seller process maps. Those do not require access, but I will tell you once it's on the same web page that this client only area is at. So once you sign up here and you have a password and user ID that's been approved, you can go to these and click on any of the resources as well. So those are just resources for you again. If they're helpful, great, use them. If not, that's okay too. Below that will be your files. I will have these files out here through the duration of your transaction and for some time after, but they're not indefinite. So if there are files here that you want to keep going forward, which I recommend you do, I would encourage you to download these onto your own system. I always recommend inspection reports, keep those. You may want to keep inspection receipts. You may want to have a copy of your contracts. There may be property docs here. There will eventually be additional closing. You can see there's a closing statement. Once we get that, will be uploaded. Those are all things that are worth keeping for the future for you. So that's under files. We visited activities. We visited files. Contract. That's the deadlines. And those were, of course, also on the landing page. So this is the default landing page when you come in. So transaction dates, tasks, and participants. So your 2 main tabs I would want to click on are the contract, because again, transaction dates, tasks, and participants, all the contact information, as well as files. So files is going to be valuable as well. If you ever need to get back to your dashboard, you can do that by clicking that, and you can go back in through the view files. Or view details rather. So I hope that you find this helpful. If you have any questions, as always, reach out to me and I'm happy to walk you through this. Thank you and have a wonderful, wonderful day.